Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be episode number 33 of the Championship Roundup, and this may be one of the most dramatic weekends of Championship action that we have seen so far. In today's video, guys, we have got a whole lot of topics to go ahead and discuss, and I'm very interested to hear what some of you guys have to say. This was just a really bizarre weekend in the Championship. Of course, we did see Sunderland relegated this weekend, as well as that at the opposite end of the Championship we saw Wolves crowned as champions for this season. So all of that will be discussed in today's video, guys, but what I'm of course interested to know is what you guys have to say. So make sure you do leave a comment in the comments down below as to what do you make of this weekend's Championship action, as like I say, we've got a lot to talk about. And so just before we do go on to talking about each game individually, guys, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you guys did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct this weekend, then I will include your comment on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get one correct this weekend. I had a pretty good one for predicting games, really. I managed to go ahead and get 4 of my predictions spot on. They were the Birmingham, Brentford, Derby and Sunderland games, which I all managed to predict, so that's pretty good going from me. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into talking over some of these games. So we'll start out with Friday night's game between Millwall and Fulham, and in the end it was Fulham who walked away with a massive 3-0 away victory, which of course continues to pile on the pressure at Cardiff on the top of the Championship. But in the game as a whole, I thought Millwall got a little bit unlucky, really. You know, judging off the first half especially, Millwall got very unlucky not to take the lead in that. You know, in the first half no goals were scored, but it was a really good game to watch. Millwall, they hit the crossbar, they had a chance cleared off the line by I think Ream for Fulham in the end. You know, one thing that you could say about Fulham this season is they've got a lot of accolades for how good they've been going forward this season, and rightly so. But defensively in that first half, they had to stand up and be counted, and they more than did that to weather the storm. And then in the second half, the game just flipped, really. It was Ryan Sessegnon who pounced on a deflection to go ahead and make it 1-0 to Fulham. And then after that, Fulham just really seemed to be going wave after wave forward and really putting Millwall to the sword. They managed to go 2-0 up with a fantastic strike from Kevin McDonald right into the top corner. He rifled that one in. There was no stopping that. And then they managed to go ahead and wrap up with Mitrovic making it 3-0 with a very nice finish into the roof of the net from him as well. So the only real positive that could come from Millwall this weekend is a lot of the other teams below them didn't really take advantage of Millwall losing this game. You know, only Brentford were a side below them who went ahead and won this weekend, but it is incredibly close in that playoff race now. There's only 3 points separating Millwall in 6th and Sheffield United in 11th, so it's still anyone's game. And talking about Sheffield United, they were of course involved in a massive game this weekend between themselves and Birmingham, where it was Birmingham who walked away with the 2-1 home victory, which gives them a massive boost for their Championship survival, really. They are now sat 5 points clear of the relegation zone, and with some of the other games that they've got coming up, this was just imperative that they went ahead and got something from it, and the 3 points will be a massive bonus for them. It was Sheffield United who took the lead. It was a nice goal from Duffy, a bit of trickery from him, and then he managed to find his way into the bottom corner. Birmingham's response, though, you got to give it to them. They were fantastic in this game. You know, the whole atmosphere and the vibe around Birmingham has just improved immensely since the arrival of Gary Monk. You know, he's a manager who knows what he wants to do with this Birmingham side and has given them a clear direction since they've come in, and they more than deserved to both get back into the game and then score the winner. It was Magoma in the end who went ahead and won it for them. So Birmingham are looking quite strong at the moment. In terms of Sheffield United, quite disappointing, really, especially after Millwall lost on Friday. This was a big opportunity for them, but realistically their whole play really was quite sloppy from start to finish. So they're still only 3 points off, but who knows what could happen now. And our next game saw Wolves go ahead and claim the Championship title with an emphatic 4-0 away victory over Bolton Wanderers, and of course that really doesn't do Bolton any favours with their hopes of survival in the Championship this season. But you've got to give it to Wolves. Going forward in this one, they were looking absolutely fantastic. You know, they took the lead through Barry Douglas in the 16th minute, but one of the pick of the goals had to be Benica Fobe's on the stroke of half time. The pass from Connor Cody in defence right up to a Phoebe was absolutely exceptional. It split the Bolton defence in half, and a Phoebe, a very composed finish from him to go around the keeper keeper and slot it into the back of the net. And, you know, that's something that you've got to give it to Conor Coady this season. His passing rage out from that centre-back position has been absolutely exceptional. Then, of course, they managed to extend their lead through Jota, a very nice chipped finish from him. And it was actually Conor Coady who wrapped the game up in the 66th minute with a penalty. So, of course, we've all really known that Wolves were going to be champions for quite a while now, but this performance just goes to sum up how great they've been this year, really. And this game then saw Brentford take a massive step towards maybe the playoffs this season as they managed to get past QPR with a 2-1 home victory. Now, Brentford have been that side, really, who have come out of nowhere recently. You know, they've been on a really nice run of form and are now just 1 point off Millwall. And you gotta say, yeah, Brentford have really got a chance now of sneaking into that 6th place. But in this game, it was Sergi Canos who went ahead and gave Brentford the lead. They then had a great chance to make it 2-0, but Ollie Watkins missed his penalty. Quite a tame one in the end, really. It was quite easily saved by the QPR keeper. QPR then got back into the game just on the stroke of half-time, but it was Josephine who went ahead and won it for Brentford in the second half. So, like I said, that could have huge implications for Brentford going forward, especially with every other side around that playoff place that's chasing them at the moment not winning this weekend apart from Brentford. You gotta say they're in a good position at the moment. Then our next game is without doubt one of the most bizarre championship matches I have ever seen in my life. In the end, it finished Bristol City 5, Hull City 5, and boy, oh boy, I'm sure that for both Bristol City and Hull City fans, the range of emotions in this game will have just been absolutely off the scale. And of course, in the end, Bristol City probably will be a bit disappointed, really, not to take advantage of some of the other sides around them going ahead and losing. They're currently sat 3 points off the playoffs. But talking over this game, first of all, Bristol City were in some fantastic positions at certain points of this game. They were 3-1 up, then they were 4-2 up. Then Hull City managed to go ahead and go 5-4 up. And then in the last minute, Bristol City managed to equalise through a late goal from Joe Bryan. But in this game, I think Lee Johnson summed it up best, really, when he said they were brilliant going forward, but then they defended like schoolboys at times, really. And that sort of epitomises Bristol City's season, you know. Going forward, both sides were absolutely emphatic to watch. It was an end-to-end game which you couldn't really take your eyes off. Harry Wilson for Hull City was absolutely tremendous in this game. He went ahead and popped up with 2 goals, a nice curling effort, and 1 from a free kick as well. Bristol City, they had some nice goals in fairness to them as well. Jeju managed to pop up with 2. He's been in some nice form towards the end of the season. Marlon Pack hit a long ranger as well, and Bobby Reid popping up with another goal as well to add to this season. But in the end, it was Joe Bryan who managed to go ahead and pop up in the 94th minute to equalise for Bristol City. So Bristol City fans and Hull City fans, let me know down below what you guys made of this game. Overall, Bristol City, they still do have an outside chance of the playoffs. Like I said, they're 3 points off, but it's not looking too likely. And this game then saw Middlesbrough take a huge step in the right direction to going ahead and securing the playoffs with a 2-1 away victory over Derby County. Of course, Derby still only sat 1 point off the playoffs. They do have a game in hand as well, but looking over their form for the last probably 3 months, you got to say it's not looking too likely for them, you know. In this game, it was Besic who managed to go ahead and put Middlesbrough ahead with a nice strike from him, and Middlesbrough this season in the Championship have one of the best records. I think they may even have the best record of when they go a goal up, they never really tend to throw that away, and that can be seen in this game. Defensively, I think they've been excellent since Tony Pulis has come in. A couple of exceptions for that, but on the whole, they've been very good and tight at the back. Then it was Assombalonga who made it 2-0 for them with a very composed finish from him. They had other chances as well, you know, Adama Traore once again looking fantastic on the break for Middlesbrough. Then it was David Nugent who pulled a goal back in the 92nd minute through a penalty. But Derby in this one, quite a frustrating game really, of course, with how much was on the line. They just didn't have that quality going forward to really break down and test this Middlesbrough defence as much as they would have liked to. But Middlesbrough at the moment looking quite strong. Then we saw Aston Villa cruise to victory with a 4-0 away victory over Ipswich Town. And Ipswich's day wasn't helped really. They got a man sent off in the first half. It was Grant Ward. After that, Aston Villa, they just went into cruise control for this game really. Lewis Groban popped up with 2 very nice finishes. It was Conor Hourihane who opened the scoring for Villa, and then Henry Lansbury who went ahead ahead and wrapped it up for them. Like I said, it was quite comfortable really with some of the other chances that they had. It probably could have been more than that as well. So Ipswich at the moment, quite a funny side. Their season's just petering out now, of course. They're without a manager still. They've got a caretaker manager in charge at the moment. But Aston Villa, I'd be interested to know from you guys, out of all the sides who are currently in the playoffs, who are you fancying to go ahead and win them? You know, Fulham, it's got to be on the form side at the moment, but Aston Villa, they're capable. The next game saw Leeds get back to winning ways with a 2-1 home victory over Barnsley, which of course doesn't do them any favours at all with their hopes of survival. It was Pearce who went ahead and opened the scoring for Leeds in what was a pretty decent first half for them actually. Barnsley then though, they did get back into the game with an own goal towards the end of that half as they seemed to grow into the game, but then Alioski in the second half managed to restore things for Leeds. Towards the end of the game, Barnsley were really pushing for that equaliser, but it just wouldn't come for them. Ollie McBurney did get the ball in the back of the net, but in the end that was ruled out for offside. And of course, Barnsley, they do have a game in hand on Bolton at the moment. They're playing that game on Tuesday night, and really that's going to decide Barnsley's season, in my opinion at least. They're playing against Nottingham Forest. If they win that game, they leave themselves in a fantastic position to go ahead and survive, but if they go ahead and lose, I think that could be curtains for them. So really interesting game for Barnsley. What do you guys think? Will Barnsley survive? The next game went ahead and finished Preston 0, Norwich City 0 in what was one of the most frustrating games of football I have seen in a long time. And I've got to give it to Norwich. They were pretty good defensively, you know. They were very hard to break down, and I felt like in this game it was the sort of game where we were missing that physical presence up front of someone like Jordan Hugill to just go ahead and battle with the players like Tim Close and Grant Hanley, because they weren't really being tested by someone like Callum Robinson in the first half. But even so, we did have some great chances to go ahead and win this game. Paul Gallagher hit the crossbar from a free kick. We had Billy Bowden have an exceptional chance which he just killed wide of the top corner. Josh Harrop had a couple of chances as well, and Shawnee Maguire had a free header inside the 6-yard box which he went ahead and spooned over. You know, if you want anyone in that position, it's going to be Maguire, but it just wasn't our day today, which was so frustrating, of course. The only other positive that I can think of was, of course, that Millwall also lost this weekend, so we are now just 2 points off the playoffs. But looking over some of our home games this season, there have been so many of them which have been so winnable for us, which we've not capitalised on. So in the end, that's probably going to cost us for not reaching the playoffs, but defensively, Norwich were pretty good. Our next game then saw Sheffield Wednesday go ahead and pick up a very comfortable 3-0 home victory over Reading. Of course, Reading still not completely safe of relegation, especially if Barnsley win their game in hand on Tuesday night. Reading could be dragged straight back into that, so they of course will be looking over their shoulders at the moment. But this game, Fernando Forestieri absolutely ran the show for Sheffield Wednesday, and his impact on this just shows how much they've missed him this season. He of course went ahead and popped up with 2 goals, 2 very nice finishes as well. I thought that the second goal he scored was just epitomised what he was about, really. He lost the ball a couple of times, but he was straight back in there to win it back every time, and then he was well deserved with the finish of the goal in the end. And so a 3-0 victory, Sheffield Wednesday finishing the season quite well actually. The next game without doubt was one of the most dramatic games this weekend, which did finish Burton Albion 2, Sunderland 1, which of course has now sealed Sunderland's relegation to League One. So some Sunderland fans, I'd be very interested to hear your opinions on everything which has happened this season really in the Championship, and just what you think has gone wrong. Of course, the ownership of Sunderland this season, it's just turned absolutely toxic now at that club, and now they're going down to League One. You know, where's this decline for them going to go ahead and stop? But in this game, in fairness to them, they did get themselves into a decent opportunity. It was Paddy McNair who went ahead and put them 1-0 up. You know, a win here would have really given them some hope going into the final 2 games of the Championship. But then in the 86th minute, it was Darren Bent who popped up with the equaliser, and then in the 92nd minute, Boyce managed to pop up with the winner for Burton Albion, and this now leaves them just 2 points off safety with 2 games to go. So Burton Albion, if they go ahead and survive, they will have pulled off the absolute impossible this season. They've been in that bottom 3 for pretty much the whole of this year. If they manage to survive now, it would be an absolute miracle. But Sunderland, on the other hand, things just weren't looking good from minute one for them this season. Sunderland did think that they had got back into the game with a late equaliser, but in the end that was also ruled out for handball for them. So realistically, Sunderland, this has just been a disaster of a season, and I'd be very intrigued to hear some of the thoughts of the Sunderland fans down below. But in terms of Burton fans, do you think you've got a chance of survival? Let me know down below. Now, the next game saw Cardiff take a huge step towards automatic promotion with a 2-1 home victory over Nottingham Forest in what could be one of the results of the season for them, really. Cardiff now only need 2 wins out of their last 3 games to go ahead and secure promotion to the Premier League. It was Sean Morrison who went ahead and gave Cardiff the lead in this one. Really poor defending from Nottingham Forest, you know. Something that you associated with them while they were under management of Mark Warburton was they were really bad at defending set pieces. More of that could be seen in this one, you know. To let Morrison have a free header inside the 6-yard box is just absolutely criminal, but he went ahead and put Cardiff 1-0 in front. Then after that, they had quite a few other chances. You know, Kenneth Zohore had a fantastic chance to put them 2 up. His chipped effort just clipped the post, and Forest managed to clear. But then Forest did get back into the game with Liam Bridcut in the 50th minute, and then it was Gunnarsson who went ahead and won it for them in dramatic style. I've got to say, Cardiff at the moment are looking very good for automatic promotion, especially if they can win that game in midweek. So guys, there were all the matches that did take place this weekend in the Championship. So what do you make of it all, guys? Let me know down below. We do also have some midweek games going on in the Championship, so I'll go ahead and give you my predictions for them. We've just got 2 of them going on, but both of them could have huge significance on the Championship. We've got Derby County going up against Cardiff. I am going to fancy Cardiff for a 2-1 away victory. Then we see Nottingham Forest going up against Barnsley, a huge game that one, and I'm actually going to back it to finish as a 1-1 draw. But in terms of my results of the weekend, we had a lot of drama go on this week, and there are a lot of contenders for it. But for me personally, I am actually going to give it to Burton Albion for going ahead and getting that quick turnaround in that game that they had. You know, they were 5 minutes away from relegation to League One, but they've somehow managed to keep their chances of survival alive for yet another week in the Championship. So Burton Albion, they get my result of the weekend. And in terms of my goal of the weekend, once again, quite a few contenders for this one, but for me personally, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kevin McDonald for his fantastic strike for Fulham against Millwall. So guys, there you have it. That will wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Roundup. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, please do subscribe for some regular Championship content. It is always massively appreciated, like I said. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.